Okay then, Helldivers, if you're watching this video at launch, we are live right now on twitch.tv. We are checking out the brand new patch updates. If you want to jump along and see what's going on, link in the description and the pinned comment. I'll see you there. What's going on, guys? Cloudplays here, and we're back inside of Helldivers 2, and we have got the brand new patch update for 0.1.001.100. That is a mouthful and a half, but nonetheless, all you guys need to know is that this patch is absolutely ginormous, and we've got to break all of it down for you guys today. If you haven't already, smash that beautiful blue thumbs up and subscribe with post notifications turned on. It'd be greatly appreciated. And make sure you check out our sponsor, Instant Gaming, the platform where you can buy video games cheaper for PC and consoles with the best deals, offers, promotions, and discounts running up to 70% off. It's a no-brainer. Link in the description. Go get your games cheaper. Nonetheless, let's see what's going on inside of Helldivers 2. The overview for this patch is huge. It states right here we've got a major overhaul on anti-tank, armor penetration, health, and armor values, weapon and strat gem balancing, enemy reworks, Helldiver health and damage mechanic tweaks, gas gameplay mechanic rework, new galactic war feature, emote wheel feature, and the crash and bug fixes. A little bit panicking that they've got a gas gameplay mechanic rework, as we've just got the new update coming with the new war bond in a couple of days, and we've seen this one before, but we're going to take a look at everything that's happening. It states right here, major updates. Helldivers, thank you for your valuable feedback. Many players have expressed feeling constrained in how they approach challenges, often relying on the limited set of tools while other options seem less effective. This has impacted your ability to play the game in a way that suits your preferences. So, what's changing? For all the bug divers out there, many situations were previously either resolved with your primary weapon or anti-tank weapons, which haven't always performed as expected. With the overwhelming presence of bio-titans and charges, many weapon choices therefore became invalid. To address this, we've reworked the armor penetration, anti-tank weapons, enemy armor, and health values. Our goal is to improve the effectiveness of weapons such as the autocannon, heavy machine gun, flamethrower, and anti-material rifle against heavy armored enemies. Although they may not be as effective as specialized anti-tank weapons, they are now more viable choices, making your loadouts more versatile, fostering better team collaboration and planning. On the bot front, Hulks have also had their armor reduced, making them more vulnerable to a wider range of weapons. Additionally, to improve the gameplay experience, the Devastator and Gunship will now have a limited supply of rockets, and those rockets won't hit as frequently as before. This comes alongside the previously updated smaller impact radius for rockets, reducing excessive ragdolling. We've also made improvements to many primary weapons, bringing them closer in effectiveness to the most popular choices. This should offer more variety and flavor during your play sessions. We are adjusting damage mechanics to make the damage Helldivers receive more consistent over time by reducing 100% extra headshot damage to 50%. To maintain the overall challenge of the game, though, we've slightly increased the damage taken to other body parts. Our intent is to preserve the intensity of the gameplay while minimalizing frustration situations where sudden headshots cause large damage spikes. With these changes, along with upgraded Helldiver arsenal, enemy adjustments, and more consistent damage, the overall difficulty might slightly decrease. We'll be monitoring this closely, and we'll listen to the community and how you think it feels. Thank you so damn much. We've not looked at the numbers yet, but just the way that they're talking about it looks incredible, and the fact that they're monitoring everything that we're stating and seeing what it is that's going to happen. Maybe we'll have some changes coming up, but this one's going to be a long video because this is a deep dive. When we take a look at the balancing, though, previously partial damage dealt 50% of full damage, which we found to be overly pushing and reduced effectiveness too much, leading to an excessive reliance on high armor penetration weapons. We've now increased the partial damage to 65% of full damage to address this issue. The Helldiver now takes less damage from headshots, which previously dealt 100% extra damage, which will now inflict only 50%. Damage from this hits to the body parts has been slightly increased depending on the area hit. This adjustment aims to normalize overall damage while maintaining detailed damage zones, reducing spike damage. For overall, though, that's actually a really good move. As far as the weapons go, the Liberator and the Liberator Carbine have got a buff. I love to see this. The damage has been increased from 60 to 70, durable damage increased from 14 to 17, stagger force increased from 10 to 15, max spare magazines increased from 7 to 8, and a starting spare magazine increased from 5 to 6. That's absolutely incredible. I'm so happy with this, but we're going to move forward straight away. Knight, the damage have increased from 50 to 65, durable damage increased from 5 to 7, magazines now fully refill when picking up the resupply and reduce recoil, as well as all of, oh my god, there's everything on here. It's absolutely amazing. The Liberator Concussive now comes with a drum magazine which holds 60 rounds. They listened. Number of mags reduced from 10 to 6, which does suck a little bit, but we've got a big drum now. The number of mags have been reduced due to the larger magazine capacity, obviously. The Tenderizer, number of rounds increased from 30 to 35, and the starting magazine increased from 4 to 5, although no actual damage is differencing on the Tenderizer. As far as the Breaker goes, it now comes with an extended magazine which holds 16 shells, and the Stagger Force has increased from 10 to 15, which we do like to see. The Spray and Pray, which again is another variant. We've got a duckbill muzzle, making it spread very horizontal but less vertical, and the damage increase from 192 to 240. That's a big booster on that one. As far as the Scythe goes though, the cooldown is faster, adjustments to the heat VFX, scope changed to a low powered scope, as well as removing recoil, and sets enemies on fire faster, which is always nice to hear, and I'm hoping that's a general trend that they've got with the lasers inside of this game. We'll have to see exactly how that one plays out going forward though. But moving forward, the crossbow, the explosion radius increased to 50%, and explosion damage increased from 150 to 350. That's mad. That might make that a viable option now. Obviously, we've got the eruptor changes, which we do all know about. The shrapnel projectiles amount are set to 30, as well as the damage set to 110. The explosion damage decreased from 340 to 225, and shrapnel is back. It's back, and in a better way. This one is going to be good. It means that it's going to kill you a lot less, and they've increased the amount of shrapnel, which is amazing, as well as the explosion radius by 33%, 17% for inner radius, and 50 for outer radius, as well as the Defender, the Liberator Penetrator, the Diligence, Counter Sniper, Blitzer, Torture, and we're only on the primaries right now. This is hilarious. The Defender's damage increased from 70 to 75, durable damage increased from 7 to 8, so only a low one. The Penetrator damage increased from 45 to 60. I actually am really happy with that one. The Penetrator might actually be used quite a lot more, especially on the bot front. The Diligence damage increased from 125 to 165, and the durable damage increased from 32 to 42, making it quite a viable option. The Counter Sniper, though, has also had a ginormous boost, with the damage increase from 140 to 200. The durable damage increased from 14 to 50, as well as the Stagger Force increase from 15 to 20. Now, obviously, these numbers are all just going to be numbers to you, but you can see the damage spike difference, and we're going to be testing a load of these weapons out on stream today, so we'll be able to give you a bit more of a detailed one later on tonight. But the Blitzer now has a weak stun effect that builds up per shot on its targets, and the Torture has a damage increase by 50%, as well as the Flamer mechanics reverted to before the Escalation of Freedom update, with an AP from 3 to 4. Absolutely amazing on the primary weapons. Still a lot more to go, still a lot more to come through, but the ARs have now received the buff that we now wanted them to have, which is an incredible news, and may actually make them a little bit more viable. Moving into the sidearms though, the Peacemaker, Dagger, and the Crisper are the three that they've worked on. As far as the Peacemaker goes, they've increased the max spare magazines from 5 to 6, so not a massive difference at all. You won't feel anything. The Dagger gains heat more slowly, removed the recoil on it, and damage increased from 200 to 250, sets enemies on fire faster, and adjusts the heat VFX. So as an overall, those ones have not been affected too much, with the over adjusting points with regards to all the primaries. The secondaries are supposed to be secondaries. They're meant to be miniature weapons that you guys can use as a backup, so it's nice to have them buffed up a little bit, but it's not really too much of a push when it comes to that one. Now, one of the things that you guys are really interested about is the support weapons. This one has been a really big move. They've dedicated anti-tank weapons like the recoil rifle, Quasar, Commando, anti-tank expendable, the Spear, the Patriot exosuit rockets have all been receiving a significant damage boost to enhance their effectiveness. These weapons generally fall into these three categories: strong and reliable, strong and less strong. Now, this is obviously going to make it so that you guys have got a bit more of a booster point for what it is that it can actually take out. So fingers crossed we're going to see quite a big point for this. With the lowest level of this being the less strong, where the Commando and Patriot exosuit typically require 1 to 3 shots to take down a Charger or Hulk, depending on your aim, which is actually not too bad at all. I think that that's generally quite a decent level. But we're going to take a look at a deep dive into this stuff. The grenade grenade launcher. Starting spare magazines increased from 1 to 2, as well as the max spare magazines increased from 2 to 3. The explosion radius slightly increased. Now, the laser cannon received a cooldown is slightly faster. They've removed the recoil, sets enemies on fire faster, and can now damage heavier enemies like chargers, biotitans, impalers, hulks, and they've adjusted the heat VFX. So far, so good. Nothing too overpowered. The arc thrower has received a big buff that we were all happy with anyway, with the range increase from 35 to 55, and now the moderate stun effect on the build-up on its targets, as well as jumping additional times, and its durable damage has been doubled, which is absolutely huge. The railgun, we all know the controversy of the railgun and what you guys are thinking with it, but that has had a ginormous buff that you guys should all be happy about. I like to hope it's going to be a positive for most of you, and fingers crossed it can work in the positive format. We'll see how that one goes as well. The Stalwart damage increased from 60 to 70, durable damage from 14 to 17, and the Stagger Force increased from 10 to 15. Not a massive boost, but a boost nonetheless. It's nice, quite nice to see that that they've got them things happening right now, and I'm really pleased that this is going to be such a nice movement. With the machine gun, the Stagger Force is from 15 to 20, so we've had a decent push on that one as well. The anti-material rifle, the durable damage increased from 135 to 180, and can now damage heavier enemies like chargers, biotitans, impalers, hulks, and the Stagger Force has gone from 20 to 25. So the anti-mat rifle again will be pretty damn useful for the most part as well. Heavy machine gun, commando, and flamethrower with the autocannon to finish. But the heavy machine gun Stagger Force has gone from 20 to 25, and it can now damage heavier enemies like chargers, biotitans, impalers, and hulks. The commando, the demolition strength against structures has been reduced. It can no longer destroy automaton fabricators in a single shot. However, since the fabricators now have health, it can still take them out with 2 shots, which is interesting that they've now got health. So we'll see exactly how that one operates. The flamethrower, we obviously know all the changes that have happened to that. We've had the decrease, damage increased by 33%. The flamer mechanics have been changed, armor penetration from 3 to 4, and we can now actually use it for what we want to, as well as the autocannon, which now has a damage heavier enemies such as chargers, biotitans, impalers, and hulks. So overall, the support weapons have had some decent buffs. The numbers don't look like all really big jumps. We've seen probably the best parts of it in the last week or so, but it'll be interesting to see how this all plays out, and I'm hoping that this is going to be a positive for the game going forward. Although moving into things such as grenades and gameplay, as far as grenades go, the frag grenade and the thermite grenade were the only 2 that were worked on. You can see on screen right here, the shrapnel damage increased roughly 50% with the maximum amount from 4 to 5, and it increased the refill from 2 to 3 with the explosion radius increased on the frag grenade, as well as the thermite grenade, which increased from 100 to 2,000. That has got to be a typo. I'm presuming that's going to be 200, because there's no way that that's a 2,000. That's insane. Shorter time until it ignites thermite, and time until it explodes slightly reduced. The maximum number is now from 4 to 3, which they are going to be overpowered beyond belief. Now, as far as the gameplay goes, though, new Galactic War features. The Galactic War map can now display the location of strategically import assets. This will make it much easier for the Helldivers to take them into consideration when deciding on their next move, and the emote wheel has now been added in as well, with players that can now equipped 4 emotes into the armory, and you guys will be able to carry those around. And obviously they've added the Dolby Atmos support on PS5. They've also changed loads of things with the enemies as well, and I really want to kind of focus this on the important bits, but they all seem to be pretty damn important. The automaton fabricators right here have had a health and armor addition to their existing destruction system, so they obviously now have a harder health penetration, and this will now take multiple hits to do so depending on the weapon used. And they've also added effects to clearer showcase their health state, so we should see that. Hulks, they've obviously had their little decrease right here, so the back weak spot and the armor reduction has obviously gone through. With the Hulk Bruiser, they've replaced the rocket launcher with an energy based cannon and increased the frequency of the Hulk Bruiser shots, which I don't like the idea of that one. I don't want them increasing any of the enemy stuff. The tank, now the force armor is from 5 to 6. The front armor, I don't really understand that one either. I think that was pretty well balanced, but the Berserker has obviously had a decrease in its health reductions, its main health reductions. The abdomen is now weaker. The chainsaw damage has been increased for the berserker. Again, that was so freaking powerful anyway. The devastators, all versions of them, the main health has gone down by 50 and they now flinch when hit. So this is obviously going to make it a lot easier. As well as the rocket devastators, ones we all hated. They now have a limited number of rockets, added reload mechanic to backpack to replenish their rockets once, and the rocket physics collision is smaller, making them easier to avoid. Gunships as well, we've had the same decrease in that with those, and the charger has now had a armor reduction, and the butt on the weak spot has been dropped down by 150, which is absolutely huge. The belly armor has been reduced by half as well. So now you'll notice that they also charge less often, and they now turn slightly slower when charging and moving normally. The charge damage has been increased by 50%, and the side attack damage has been increased by 50%, which I don't know why they've done that. I don't really know. They were quite overpowered anyway, and the damage increase is not looking too good for the charges, especially with all versions. But with the behemoth, the butt's weak spot is now decreased from 1,200 to 950. With hunters, health reductions, scavengers, health reductions, bile titans, armor reductions on top of that, and destroying the exposed belly pool kills the bile titan now, which is quite cool. I quite like that. The impaler, they've had an armor reduction, and what they've also done with it is that if they can't see the enemy, the impaler will reduce and retract its tentacles. The tentacle damage has been increased, although the reduced camera shake of the tentacle attack, and the tentacles require less damage inflicted on them to retract now. So that is really, really good as well. As far as stratagems go, we've had quite a lot come through the woodwork with this one. Every stratagem capable of damaging heavy armored enemies has now had their damage increased. The 500k bomb, we obviously know about the changes to that. The Eagle rockets damage slightly increased, and the Gatling sentry stagger force has been increased by 5. The machine gun sentry stagger increase has been increased by 5. The Tesla tower has added an increased force to match the arc weapons, now has a moderate stun effect upon build up per hit on the targets, and the heavy machine gun emplacement stagger force from 20 to 25 and can now damage heavier enemies. The Patriot exosuit, the Gatling stagger force increased from 15 to 20. The Emancipator exosuit has also had the durable damage increase by over double, and also the rate of fire on the weapons have been increased by 50, as well as an ammo increase by another 25 per arm, which is huge. The orbital laser damage slightly increased, which is overpowered as hell because that thing was great already. And the damage has been increased on the rail cannon as well as on the gas strike. We are reworking the gas mechanics to become more crowd control focused in preparation for the chemical agents war bond. So it's quite good because the gas has been reworked to cause blindness and confuse enemies and Helldivers alike at the expense of reduced damage over time. So yeah, loads of things. We've had some new planet modifiers, and that is the intense heat and extreme cold modifiers no longer static through the entire mission. They'll obviously have the weather conditions. Some desert planets will now have the intense heat modifier active during the day. This means that during the night, the planet will either have no modifier, or in some cases will have an extreme cold modifier. And the arid planets, similar to the Hellmire planets, will now have the intense heat modifier active during fire tornado storms. They've had a load of fixes that they fixed as well, but if we go through all of that, this video is going to be half an hour long. But this is absolutely incredible. The link is down in the description for you guys to check it all out, but that is your primary movement for all of your weapon changes, and this is absolutely incredible to see. I can't wait to dive on in like we are going to in the stream. If you're watching right now, then you are going to want to jump in and see this. But yeah, enjoy your patch updates. Welcome to the 17th, and hopefully the turnaround for Helldivers 2. Let's see what's going on. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you in the clouds.